You're wrong about virtues of Christianity.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Don't answer that. I don't care. In reading the Bible and talking to people who believe the Bible, I've realized from everything around me that if you're going to base your life on something, it should make sense, right? If you're going to build your life around a religion, be it Christianity, Catholicism, Jehovah's Witnesses, Buddhism, whatever it is, if you're going to base your life around something, it should make sense. And it should be, you know, it should have some form of structure. In reading this book, I've found that not only does it not make sense, it's so badly put together that it barely passes as a real book. I'm talking mainly about the contradictions that I found in it. And anybody who doesn't believe me that the book is riddled with contradictions, I just read it. Just pick a chapter and read it. I suggest you start with Genesis, because that's the easiest. And if you don't believe me, I'll point it out to you right now. Let me ask you a question. From what were animals created, according to the Bible? Where did animals come from? I'll bet you don't know that Genesis, chapters 1 and 2, give two completely different answers for the same question. Don't believe me? Here we go. Genesis 1:20 says, God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life. Okay, so according to 1:20, animals came from water. Okay, but what about Genesis 2:19? It says, and out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air. Okay, stop for a second. Which is it? Water or ground? And I don't want to hear anybody say, well, there's ground under water, because that's obviously not what the book means. It quite literally, one says they came from water, one comes from the ground. Doesn't make sense. That's an easy one though. I'll give you a better one. Can anyone speak to God face to face? Any Christian that tells you they've seen the face of God is a goddamn liar. I'll just say that right now. But Moses did speak to God face to face. He did. In Exodus 33:11, it says, and the Lord spake unto Moses face to face as a man speaketh unto his friend. So they were looking in each other's eyes. Here's what's funny. Exactly 9 verses later, in Exodus 33:20, God himself says, thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. Fucked up, right? God speaks to Moses face to face and then tells him 9 verses later, you can't speak to me face to face because then you'll die. And this last example I want to give you is riddled with contradictions. The book of Ezra, the 2nd chapter, gives a long and boring list of people that came out of captivity and into Jerusalem. It gives a list of people and the descendants that went with them. Okay? And it gives the exact same list in Nehemiah, the very next book. Like, okay, for example, Ezra chapter 2 verse, I don't know, we'll pick any one of them. Verse 8, the children of Zatu, 940 and 5. Okay. Now we'll skip to Nehemiah chapter 7. The children of Zatu, this is Nehemiah chapter 7 verse 13. The children of Zatu, 840 and 5. 945, 845. Now, if this book is going to give a list of people who went out of captivity and into Jerusalem, don't you think the two lists would line up? And if there are going to be discrepancies, don't you think they'd only be like 10 or 15 people? Some of these are off by not just hundreds, but there's a couple that are off by thousands of descendants. I mean, come on, people. Really? I'm thinking the people who wrote this book should have put a little bit more thought into it, you know what I'm saying? But I digress. Anyways, that's my spiel for today. I just want to leave you with one last little funny tidbit. This is from the King James Version. Numbers 23:22. God brought them out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. A unicorn.